Hi, guys. Welcome back to It Doesn't Have to Be Perfect with moi, Janine Lopez. Hi, welcome back. I am so nervous for this story time because, first of all, I don't really do story times. I focus on just self care and mental health, but I really just wanted to do something different, and I did a poll on Instagram and you guys voted for a story time. So we're going to dive in. And I'm going to give so many disclaimers during this story because I was 15 at the time, okay? I'm 24 now. I'm grown. 9 years later, okay? I know how to take accountability now, which is something that was very much a problem back in the day. I mean, I was a sophomore in high school, so can you really blame me? Yeah, so we're going to start off. So this was my sophomore year of high school, 15. I didn't have a quinceañera, so when I started off my sophomore year, I really just didn't have much going on. And also, to clarify that, not usually, my birthday is always like at the beginning of school. Like I'm August 25th, and usually school started like a few days before that. So there was not really much going on. And I remember like 1 week before the semester started, I get a message on Facebook, and it's from this guy. Let's call him Rob. And Rob is like, hey. And I'm like, hey. And we just kind of started talking, and this is gonna become like my toxic like boyfriend for the next 4 years. I didn't know that at the time, but to preface, this was the beginning of that journey. Okay. And so we start talking, and this is just how people just like talked back in the day. You just hit someone up on Facebook that went to your school or just went to a neighboring school, and you hit each other up, and eventually, if your parents allow you, or maybe behind your parents' back, you would meet up. But this was a week before the semester started, so as soon as the semester started, the first day after school, we met up and we talked, and we were both really shy and nervous, and like this was like the beginning of like my first like, well, maybe not my first, but like a major like love in my life, at least like love in a way of like young love, because at that time it's so easy to become infatuated with someone, and you're just so young that you just haven't experienced much. So I was just really head over heels over this guy, like major. And we started dating, and it's perfectly fine. Like it's totally like healthy, and we're just making out after school and just getting to know each other. And it doesn't take long for me to royally fuck it up, and I'll get to that. But this was, I want to say, around October, so like a month and a half into us dating. I I really can't believe I'm telling this story. Okay. This was before I was diagnosed bipolar, by the way. The bipolar diagnosis happened a year later, and this was, to my knowledge, to what I can remember, this was like my first big like manic episode. Not that this validates at all what I was about to do in this story, but it's just a preface so like you can like understand a little bit. But again, I didn't know what was going on, and it still doesn't make it okay, but that's just the background so you get a better understanding. And so at this time, I had already like grown out of like a lot of genes, like, to say it in a nice way. I was developing. I was in that age. And so naturally, I don't know, I just start getting attention from multiple guys. And I didn't know how to handle it, to be honest, because like all of like my childhood, I was just kind of there. Like, yes, I had like a boyfriend and here, there, whatever. But like I never felt pretty. I never felt like skinny enough. I never felt like I was just like, I don't know, like a catch to anyone. And during this time, I had like my first serious boyfriend, and I was getting attention from other guys. And so, what I decided to do one evening, my parents weren't home. And I don't really know where they were, to be honest. I forget. I don't know, but no one was home. And I decide to invite one of the guys over that were interested in me. And this guy had been interested in me since like freshman year, but honestly, I just wasn't like in the headspace my freshman year. That's another story, anorexic, but you know, uh, I was not in the headspace to just get with him. And also, I didn't really like him, which sounds so mean. And why did you invite him over? I don't know. I think I was just like so caught up in the high that like some like people were paying attention to me, and I was like, whoa, like this is new. I've never experienced this before. And so he comes over and we're just talking, and I just remember dude, this is so bad. Like this is so I cannot believe I'm saying I remember just like sitting next to him or like on top of him or something, and I was like, oh, you know, you wish you could kiss me, but you can't kiss me because I have a boyfriend. I really said that. I was such a tease, and it was like, why are you having a guy over? Janine, please stop. Oh my God. But yeah, that was happening, and no, we didn't kiss. Nothing happened. And so I proceeded to basically kick him out not too long afterwards, which he was not very happy about. I remember him like texting me afterwards and wanting to just come back and progress things further, and I was like, nah, dude, I just wanted to like mess around, you know, like I just wasn't interested at all. But then I I decide that it's a good idea to invite the second guy that was interested in me, the second guy, over. And oh my gosh. He comes over, and I don't remember if we kissed. I think maybe no, actually I don't think we kissed. Oh my goodness. Wait, maybe I did kiss the first guy. I don't remember. I think it was just a peck. Yeah, it was just a peck. But I like nothing more than that happened, like for sure. Like nothing crazy happened. And so the second guy is over, and like again, nothing really happens. I'm just teasing because I can, and I suddenly have this like power, or I think in my head like I have this power, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I can get anyone. And it was like, no, these are just bums. Janine, get it together. And that was that. And eventually he leaves again, and things just go back to normal until the next day. Until the next day, I'm just feeling so guilty. And I usually walked with my boyfriend to the bus together because we had the same bus stop. And so I decided to tell him that one of these guys, the first guy, I believe, I tell him that one of these guys kissed me without my permission, without me wanting it. He just came over and he kissed me. And I don't remember if I told him like it was in my room, because you would have to do way more explaining if it was in your room, girl. But I think I just told him like, yeah, like he kissed me, and that was my way of like letting out the guilt, but I was still lying to him. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. But from there, he got so pissed. Like he was so pissed. Like not at me, but like at the guy. And so he decides that when we get to the bus stop, because I believe he also took that bus. or how was it? Yeah, it was like 2 buses that arrived at this park. 2 or 3 buses. I don't remember, but it was like several buses that arrived at this park and like dropped us off in like our little area, like hometown. And he decides that he's going to follow him from afar and beat him up. And for some reason, I decided to go along with it. And I'm like, okay, babe, if you want to defend my honor, even though I'm lying, go ahead. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking. But we proceed to follow him to his house. And once we get there, I am standing like at the edge of the lawn. And he just goes over and like knocks on the door. And I guess his mom wasn't, like, no one else was home besides the dude number 1. And my boyfriend Rob just goes in. He goes in and I'm just standing outside. I don't know what I was doing. I thought I was a bodyguard. I thought I was like, Janine, my gosh. But I was just standing out there, and then like a few minutes go by and I'm like, okay, like he's taking like what's going on? Like what's going on? I need to go in and like see for myself. And I walk in and I just hear like things falling and just things just like getting out of hand. And I follow the noise and I think I end up in his room, the guy's room, and they're just like tussling and they're fighting. And guy number 1 says, oh, hey, Janine, it seems like me and your boyfriend are like dancing. And I was like, he was just making like an awkward joke because they were both like red and like fighting. And it was just, oh my God, there's so much going on. And I eventually, I'm like, hey, like, come, like, I don't know why I was acting so freaking innocent. He was like, come, like, no, come on. Just like, let's leave. Let's go. And so eventually, yeah, like we leave and I walk my boyfriend home, and I really didn't think about what would happen. Like, obviously, Janine, like this, he's going to find out. He's going to find out the truth because this was just so, whatever. But I walk him home, and that's that. And I remember we were texting afterwards. And yeah, like there was nothing like crazy abnormal that happened that night. And then in the morning, I go to school, and he tells me that he was arrested last night. And I was like, huh? What do you mean you were arrested last night? And he said, yeah. So I guess I left my pocket knife at his place. I dropped it, and I was like, why would you bring a knife? Like, why? But again, I caused this. This was my fault. Like, obviously, this was my fault. And I was like, oh, what? And like, apparently, as soon as like guy number 1's like mom came home and saw like the mess and like saw like her son worked up, she was like, what happened? And then he proceeded to tell her, and then she called the cops, I believe, and they had arrested my boyfriend for attempt of murder. And I'm putting air quotes on that because like I don't know if this was legit or if it was just like a scary tactic to like, you know, shake my boyfriend in his boots or whatever. But that's what they told him, and he spent like a few hours in like a cell, like at the local police station. And I was just like, what? I was just speechless, and I felt so bad. I just remember feeling like in shock. And especially because like now that the other guy knew that my boyfriend knew, I don't know what he like guy number 1 thought I told him, but I'm guessing it was the truth, and that's why he was upset. But oh my God, I really didn't think any of this through. Again, I'm 15. This is my first that I know of like manic episode. Again, doesn't excuse it, but that's where we're at. And afterwards, I remember just like me and him were like ride or die, like Halsey and what was his face? Like Jeezy. Yeah. It was like so like we thought we were so gangster, like it's you and me against the world, babe. Like no one's gonna like come after you. Like I got you, and like we were both just like so oh my gosh, it was so bad. But eventually, word gets out, people find out, and there's these like crazy rumors going around. And if you went to high school with me, you probably heard, or maybe you didn't, I don't know, but there was some crazy rumors going around because obviously like people talk, and the guys were talking, obviously chismosos, hello, but it was completely on me, so it's like fine. um yeah, and I remember just hearing crazy stuff like I had a threesome with the guys, or I had been cheating all along, or like crazy things that like they were giving me too much credit. Like I was not that much of a mastermind. I'm still not a mastermind at all. But I remember just getting so like I felt so ashamed and guilty, and obviously these rumors circulated to my boyfriend, and eventually we ended up breaking up at one point, because I did tell him the truth, I believe. Yeah, I ended up telling him the truth, and he forgave me, but things were like super awkward and weird. And yeah, but we just, for the next couple of years, we just end up breaking up on and off. But yeah, that is the story of me getting my boyfriend arrested because of a single lie. Whenever I tell people this story now, they're like, what? Like, Janine, that's really bad. Especially because, like, we didn't know at the time, like, how, like, a record works, like, when it comes to getting arrested and such. And obviously, like, Rob's mom was, like, so against us dating after that, which I completely understand. At the time, I was like, you just can't understand our love. But obviously, as a mother, you'd be like, stay away from that street rat. Like, she is the reason you got arrested. Like, what? Like, obviously, like, he had a responsibility in, like, going into the house and stuff, but it was only because of a lie that I said. So, yeah, completely on me. And then a year later, when I found out that I was bipolar, I was like, yes, this makes a lot of sense. And I feel like knowing that, like finding out that I was bipolar, it was so much easier for me to take accountability, because it wasn't like why is this happening? Like, da, da, da. I knew what was happening from then on. And so I was more able to be like, okay, like this is going to happen. Like these feelings are going to subside, and you just have to like roll with the punches, and you just have to like pull through. But before that, I was just like, I feel so much, and I don't know what to do with it. And oh my gosh, like it was just so much all at once. So yeah, I'm grateful for being able to have access to doctors to tell me like, hey, this is what's wrong, and this is how you can get better. So yeah. Yeah, that's the end of that story. I have many more stories. If you guys want to hear more, let me know. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok if you're feeling generous. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.